today I want to show one of my sketchbooks. I'm a bit nervous. I'm really hesitant about sharing my art or my drawings at all because I'm not a professional drawer or painter. More like a diary or yeah, just for fun. But I want to get over my fear and want to share today because I actually quite like this sketchbook. So let's get right into it. I started this sketchbook on the 29th of April 2022. I don't know when I finished it. I didn't complete to that information. But it's a really cheap sketchbook as well. I think I bought it for like €2 somewhere because I just wanted to draw. And here's the first page. This was in France on the Côte d'Azur. And I was parked in the forest and I went for a little walk in the morning. And there was this guy sitting there with his dog and it was so cute, so I definitely wanted to draw it. And I really like this painting. And I think it's interesting because I didn't have a black pen, so I didn't outline like I do now, but I still really like the look of it. This next page, I don't really like this at all. I just drew a random face and some flowers. Here I collected some flowers outside and stuck them in the book and then made little people out of it. I quite like that. And here was my friend that I was traveling with. We were doing a workaway and we had our own little apartment in the bottom and he was doing a face mask, so I just drew him doing that. This I also don't really know. It was very random. I think I saw this on Instagram and just kind of copied it. And this here was a dream that I had. And I remember waking up and I had a super vivid dream about being in a river and there was fire and I was in the forest and I don't know, and I just had this really vivid dream in my head, so I wanted to get it out and paint it. I don't think this really looked like the dream, but it has the fire, water, and forest elements. This here was in Genoa in Italy, and we had driven up on the highest hill in the area and the van broke down at the top and we had to stay there for like 2 or 3 days because the help didn't. It was Sunday and no one was working. So I used that time to paint a little bit and I painted the scenery and yeah, it was super beautiful there. So that was good. And I collected also, again, some flowers and I really like this one. Here we were then in the city waiting for the car to be repaired and at a cafe, so I just sketched the cafe and our coffees. And this was then at the next spot a few days later. I was parked at this little lake and there was a guy fishing and yeah, he just looked so peaceful and just doing his thing. So I drew him. This page I like as well. This was a few days later at the next spot, again in a field, and the moon looked really nice that night and there was kind of a lagoon with some plants. And these are some fireflies because one evening there were just so many fireflies everywhere and I had never seen fireflies before and I was really amazed. And it was really magical because they were just glowing and they kept landing on our hand and lighting up and turning back off. Or yeah, you know, glowing and hiding or whatever. And this here was at a beach in Maiori, which is on the Amalfi Coast. I was working at a campsite there for a month. And yeah, I just painted the beach. And there was an old man that came up to me and asked what I was doing and if he can look at my paintings. And I always get a bit intimidated because, as I said, I'm really shy about showing my stuff. But it's always nice when I paint or draw in public. A lot of the times people will come up and ask what I'm doing and if they can see or tell me how they used to draw as well. And they're always really cute encounters. This next page was, I think, drawn in the morning. I was drinking coffee, so this brown color is coffee. And yeah, just painting with the coffee. And this I followed a YouTube tutorial. The Amalfi Coast is really famous for their lemons, so I painted some lemons. Here I tried to paint the same lemons, but without the tutorial that time. And here was the view from our balcony, and there were always like a bunch of rich Americans on yachts listening to music really loud, so that was what this is. Here I was driving to Amsterdam with two of my best friends for one of their birthdays, and they were in the front and I was in the back of the car, and I quickly sketched us driving to the hotel. This page I don't like at all. I just drew some faces and then wanted to add some color, and yeah, not a big fan of that one though. This one I really like. This was a family that I saw from above and I had taken a photo, and I really liked the photo, so I tried to paint it, and it was just cute and wholesome. Whereas this side is the complete contrary. I don't like this one at all. It was also at the beach, and there was this woman and she looked like a cartoon character, so I thought, okay, I'll try to draw her like a cartoon character, or just, yeah, draw her, but I did not do her justice at all. Here was another man at the beach who I drew. This turned out a bit better, and he was standing there for so long. I had enough time to draw and paint him. While he was standing there, he did not move. This painting was in Skauri, where I stayed a few days as well, and it was the first time in a while that I had been alone, and I was really enjoying just painting and, yeah, having some alone time. And I was by this little beach, but you couldn't really swim. It was more like a, yeah, fishing port, kind of. Here I was on the train, I guess. Yeah, I was on the train to North Italy to visit my friends, exactly. And I just started learning Italian. A girl that I met had taught me how to ask, can you please fill up my water bottle? Which is possibile riempire la mia bottiglia. And I wrote it down, but I misspelled it, it's not correct. And here I was in the Dolomites. We went hiking for a few days, which was really nice, but didn't go at all as planned. But I drew the little fire that we made one evening, and it was so windy, so we used the barrel to block the wind. I quite like this one. And then this is in the hut we stayed in, which was Magospora. And we were doing tattoos, so here's my friends doing tattoos, and again, a bunch of flowers to go with it. Oh, this I hate. We can just cover this up. So this was another woman at the beach, and I wanted to draw her, but yeah, I don't like the way that turned out, so I actually had it covered up with these shells in Venice, shells from Venice. And here's, inspired by the shells, a wall with cracks and eyes, which I ended up painting here, I think, and writing. Yeah, I painted that here as well, but yeah, just trying stuff, I don't know. And here's a face in the forest, and on the back there's this here. It's referring to eating disorders. Then I was in Rome, and I did some touristy sightseeing and just drew all the famous sites that I visited and liked. And then I was with another girl that I met, and we got some free bracelets, actually, and some ice cream that was very good. That same evening, though, my van broke down again, so I had to get it fixed. And the next day I was in Via Portuguese, and I was in a cafe waiting for it to get fixed, and I painted my coffee. And while I was painting again, a woman came up and spoke to me, and she could speak French, so we spoke for about an hour and had a really interesting conversation. and she ended up going to the car workshop with me to make sure that I'm not getting ripped off, which I wasn't, but it was so sweet. And yeah, oops. And yeah, so here I wrote Io bevo un caffè macchiato al caffè, so drinking a caffè macchiato in the cafe. And the same evening I arrived at my next workaway, which was a farm. It was a vegan couple and they just had a farm and it was so nice there. I really liked it, but they had a really cute dog called Sole. So I drew Sole and wrote Il cane è carino. The dog is cute. Another sentence I had learned that day. Here's some sun and moon paintings and some female bodies, some sunflowers that I had seen. And here we went picking apricots, plums, and apples. So I'm not sure which one of the three this is supposed to be, but yeah, representing that. And here is, yeah, the last page pretty much. It's at that farm in Kia, and there was another couple there that was also living in a van, and their van was just parked on the property, and you could see the mountains behind, and it was just really pretty, so I wanted to capture that moment. And I really enjoyed painting this, and I really like this one. And here you can see I had the black pen, so I was outlining everything at this point. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. There's this one last page that looks like Michael Jackson, so yeah, that's the final page. And oh no, here's one more. So here's from July 31st, so a bit later. I was in Portugal again and we were just wild camping on the beach. So this was the beach in Sines, or Sines, or Sines, or however you pronounce it, and our tent, some of the plants. And yeah, that's one of my travel sketchbooks that I decided to share today. I'm still a little bit nervous, but I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, it's just a reminder for myself that it doesn't have to be perfect, and yeah, it can just be for fun, and even though it's just for fun, it's still fun to share and exchange. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you could find some inspiration, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.